Is the size and scale of Göbekli Tepe unique in
Yes.
comparison to the ones that are around it?
Yes. So far, the ones that have been found, Göbekli Tepe is unique. And I think it's clear now that Göbekli Tepe itself was the end of a process.
There is always something captivating and sometimes horrifying about historic finding. They remind us of the fact that people did fantastic things during that era, but it also tells us that there is more to what the eyes can see. Göbekli Tepe is one of these incredible discoveries, and these 12,000 pillars are even more mysterious. Recently, machines and AI have discovered new things, as controlled and documented by archaeologists and researchers. So, what did they find? What was the result of their findings, and how horrifying was it? Hang on as we are about to explore Göbekli Tepe and what AI just analyzed about the pillars. About the temple that shouldn't exist. Göbekli Tepe, also known as Potbelly Hill in Turkish, is a beautiful archaeological gem which is located in Upper Mesopotamia, a part of modern Turkey. This captivating site was bustling with life from around 9,500 BCE to at least 8,000 BCE in the pre-pottery Neolithic era. What really makes Göbekli Tepe unique are its impressive circular structures, which feature huge stone pillars, some of the oldest monuments in the world. Many of these pillars are dressed with carved faces, clothing, and interesting depictions of wild animals, and these gave archaeologists insights into the artistic expressions and spiritual beliefs of our prehistoric ancestors. It rises about 15 meters or 50 feet high and sprawls over 8 hectares. It is also filled with remnants of basic buildings, quarries, and even stone-lined cisterns from the Neolithic period, as well as traces of later activities. This is such a treasure trove of history. Göbekli Tepe is a site that emerged at the beginning of the Southwest Asian Neolithic era, a period when humans first created permanent settlements. This Neolithic revolution is usually linked to the emergence of agriculture, but there are still a couple of debates about whether farming led people to settle down or if settling down was what made room for farming in the first place. What's particularly interesting about Göbekli Tepe is that it's a complex which is located on a rocky mountaintop, and there is no major evidence of farming taking place there, making it a key player in this ongoing discussion. Recent discoveries state that Göbekli Tepe was home to a settlement complete with extensive grain processing, domestic structures, reliable water sources, and tools for daily activity. This challenges the earlier views that saw the site as just a sanctuary for nomadic people with few permanent residents. The actual reason for the megalithic structures remains a mystery, often called the world's first temple, but they probably had roofs and frequently experienced a couple of collapses from landslides, only to be rebuilt or repaired later. Göbekli Tepe initially got noticed during an archaeological survey in 1963. It wasn't until 1994 that a German archaeologist named Klaus Schmidt studied its true importance and aggressively started excavations the following year. After his passing in 2014, the work continued as a collaborative effort between Istanbul University, Şanlıurfa Museum, and the German Archaeological Institute, which the Turkish prehistorian Necmi Karul now oversees. In 2018, Göbekli Tepe got its flowers as it was celebrated as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, stating its amazing significance as one of the earliest examples of monumental architecture created by humans. By 2021, about 10% of the site had been dug out, with geophysical surveys revealing that the mound contains at least 20 large enclosures waiting to be explored. This archaeological monument thrived during the very inception of the Southwest Asian Neolithic era, which spanned roughly between 9,600 and 7,000 BCE. This period, coming right at the end of the last ice age, serves as a crucial turning point in human history, the dawn of village life and the establishment of the earliest permanent settlements. One of the earliest known sites, Göbekli Tepe, dates back to between 10,700 and 9,250 BCE and may have played a role in impacting the artistic and cultural developments that defined the PPN in Upper Mesopotamia, which includes Göbekli Tepe and other sites like the Taş Tepeler. For a long time, archaeologists have linked the rise of settlements to the Neolithic Revolution, which was essentially the shift from gathering and hunting to farming. However, there's still a debate over whether farming led people to settle down or if settling eventually led to the adoption of agriculture. Ironically, the Neolithic Revolution in Southwest Asia was a slow and varied process, rather than an immediate change. Some views of village life actually started as long as 10,000 years before the traditional Neolithic period in certain areas. And the move to agriculture unfolded over thousands of years, with different regions experiencing this shift at their own unique pace. To organize this time period, archaeologists split the pre-pottery Neolithic into two phases: pre-pottery Neolithic A, PPNA, from about 9,600 to 8,800 BCE, and pre-pottery Neolithic B, PPNB, which spans from around 8,800 to 7,000 BCCE. Reasonable evidence suggests that the people of Göbekli Tepe were primarily hunter-gatherers, but also incorporated early forms of domesticated grains into their diet as they lived in villages for part of the year. Incredible tools like grinding stones, mortars, and pestles discovered at the site point to significant cereal processing going on. In addition, archaeozoological findings state that these folks engaged in large-scale gazelle hunting during the warmer months, especially from midsummer to autumn. Most times, the pre-pottery Neolithic villages consisted of clusters of stone or mud brick houses, but also included impressive larger structures and monuments. Examples include the tower and walls at Jericho, alongside the huge circular buildings at sites like Göbekli Tepe, Nevelachori, Chayonu, Wadi Fainan 16, Jerf el Ahmar, Tel Aber 3, and Tepe Asyab. Archaeologists believe that these structures were made for communal activities, and the teamwork required to build them built strong social connections as these communities began to expand. The T-shaped pillars that define Göbekli Tepe are a unique feature of the Urfa region, though similar designs can be found at many PPN sites, including places like Nevelachori, Hamzan Tepe, Karahan Tepe, Harbetsuvan Tepesi, Sefer Tepe, and Tazla Tepe. Interestingly, there are also other stone stelae lacking the iconic T-shape at contemporary sites further away, such as Chayonu, Kermez Dere, and Gusir Hoyuk. Klaus also believed Göbekli Tepe once served as a ritual center, a gathering place where small nomadic groups from across the region could come together on the hilltop. He imagined them collaborating on impressive building projects, sharing grand feasts, and then dispersing again. There are some evidences of butchered bones from local game, like deer, gazelle, pigs, and geese, tells us a lot about these gatherings. These ones represent food prepared for the attendees, and zoo archaeological studies proves the fact that gazelles were only present in the area seasonally. This suggests that feasts and rituals were timed to coincide with periods when game was abundant. Klaus stated that the construction at Göbekli Tepe played a role in laying the groundwork for the rise of urban civilization later on. Klaus also wondered about the belief systems of the people who built Göbekli Tepe, drawing comparisons with other shrines and settlements. He stated that shamanic practices were at play and suggested that the T-shaped pillars might symbolize human figures, possibly representing ancestors. However, he believed a developed belief in gods didn't come up until later in Mesopotamia, where it became associated with large temples and palaces. This idea fully aligns with an ancient Sumerian belief that animal husbandry, agriculture, and weaving were divine gifts brought to humans from the sacred mountain Iker, home to the Anuna deities, ancient gods without individual names. Klaus also referred to this tale as a primeval myth that captivated a glimpse of the early Neolithic era. The idea that Göbekli Tepe was uniquely a place of worship has come under scrutiny. Some researchers say that the structures might have functioned as large communal homes, comparable with the impressive plank houses found on the northwest coast of North America, complete with their grand houseposts and totem poles. It remains a mystery why the existing pillars were buried every few decades, only to be replaced by new stones arranged in a smaller concentric ring inside the older ones. According to Rami Haddad, there has been a shift in how people interpret Göbekli Tepe, which is previously seen as a regional ceremonial hub where nomadic groups gathered. It's now viewed more like other large pre-pottery Neolithic sites where ritual and everyday life mixed. We have dug out the history and how Göbekli Tepe came about. But right now, we are about to explore what the researchers and archaeologists had to say about this legendary discoveries, as well as what the machines and AI revealed about the pillars. Let's get into it quickly, because there is a lot for uncover. Conspiracies around Göbekli Tepe. There are confirmations of a chaotic comet strike in Turkey might be gotten in what could be the world's oldest lunisolar calendar. That is, if the event really occurred. Very recent evaluations of markings on a stone pillar at Göbekli Tepe, one of the earliest known farming communities, suggest that ancient people might have documented the date when a swarm of comet fragments collided with Earth nearly 13,000 years ago, around 10,850 BCE. This remarkable site, located in southern Turkey, is about 12,000 years old, stretching back to the dawn of the Holocene, the latest epoch that followed the retreat of glaciers. According to a statement from the University of Edinburgh in Scotland, these incredible carvings at Göbekli Tepe may have made room for ancient cultures to mark that significant celestial event. A researcher points out that the description in question has often been linked to a solar corona, the outer layer of the sun that becomes visible along the edges of the moon during a solar eclipse. He said, "If this description really holds true, it would be one of the earliest written accounts of the solar corona." To confirm the record of the eclipse, the team looked into how the Earth's rotation would have influenced visibility at the time. However, they realized that the eclipse wouldn't have been seen from Khufu, the capital city of the Luduchi where the chronicles were written. They were so curious to get to the bottom of it, so they examined archaeological reports and historical geography, discovering the fact that earlier studies had referenced coordinates nearly 4.79 miles off from the ancient capital. In one of the research he did, Tokuji Hayakawa said, "This correction allowed us to accurately measure the Earth's rotation during the total eclipse, determine how the sun's rotation axis was oriented, and even simulate the appearance of the corona." The researchers believe this newly found data set corrects mistakes found in earlier studies about the Earth's rotation. The co-author, named Mitsuru Soma from Japan's National Astronomical Observatory, said it also enhances the precision of dating and reconstructing historical astronomical events. One of the key reasons this ancient record of an eclipse exists is due to the belief that celestial happenings held omens linked to contemporary events. In the writer's words, people thought unusual sky phenomena suggested political misdeeds by emperors, which led them to meticulously track eclipses, auroras, and other astronomical occurrences. They also stated that their findings align with solar cycle studies using radiocarbon dating in tree rings, providing scientists with valuable data about cosmic ray levels from that era. "Some of our ancestors were incredibly skilled observers," said a co-author named Dr. Meng Jin from the Lockheed Martin Solar and Astrophysics Laboratory. By trying merging their meticulous records with modern computational techniques and historical data, we can uncover new insights about our planet and our star from millennia past. Right now, opinions and studies about Göbekli Tepe vary. Some view it as a ceremonial gathering place, while others said it served as a social hub where rituals strengthened the bonds within early communities. Emily Salveson, an operator who visits the site quite often, finds the question of its spiritual significance particularly intriguing. "Did they connect with the divine in the same way we think of it today?" she asks, pointing at one of the carved pillars. "I imagine their experience was much more existential." Scientists have continued to revise their theories about what Göbekli Tepe was really meant for, and it's a complex puzzle to solve. Some archaeologists in Turkey have even revealed really huge structures beneath a Roman-era castle. One of the archaeologists said, "Whatever we say now might not hold up in the future. Who knows how our understanding will evolve in another 50 years? We're trying to interpret a time from 12,000 years ago." This uncertainty has made people more curious about this topic, especially among conspiracy theorists who are eager to find answers. Graham Hancock, a British journalist and star of the controversial Netflix series called Ancient Apocalypse, has said without any concrete evidence that Göbekli Tepe was constructed by a lost civilization that got wiped out by a cataclysm during the Ice Age. Those theories were once relegated to the fringes. They have gained considerable attention lately, largely thanks to Joe Rogan. His hugely popular podcast has become a go-to platform used to explore alternative perspectives on science and history. In November 2024, Jimmy Corsetti, another Göbekli Tepe conspiracy theorist and a YouTuber who calls himself an ancient history investigator, made an appearance on Rogan's podcast. He brought along a lot of speculations and outlandish theories about the site, and this captures listeners with his ideas. Jimmy didn't hold back, accusing archaeologists of intentionally stalling and hiding important findings about Göbekli Tepe. In his chat with the media, he said, "We're talking about pillars buried in dirt. It's 2024. Don't tell me we lack the technology." Also, he suggested that archaeologists might be dragging their feet deliberately, maybe to keep the mystery alive and draw in curious tourists. Since excavations started in the mid-1990s, only a little portion of the site has been uncovered. With Rogan's influential platform that amplified their voices, brilliant theorists like Corsetti have turned this slow progress into a breeding ground for global skepticism. Lee Clare, the archaeologist who's been at the top of the Göbekli Tepe excavation for over a decade, has heard it all, from the wildest conspiracy theories to the most far-fetched claims. As he sat in his Istanbul office with the shimmering Bosporus in the background, Lee casually brushes off the enthusiasts of conspiracy. Some of these folks spend half an hour at the site and think they can explain everything, he states, shaking his head at the budding theorists. When it comes to Göbekli Tepe, Lee insists on the fact that archaeologists aren't hiding anything. Their main objective is to protect this invaluable piece of history. He further states, "You can't just bulldoze a site to grab everything at once. That's not how it works." In his view, the slow pace of archaeology is becoming intentional. Each layer of earth unveils a piece of the story, and once it's disturbed, those secrets disappear forever. Why would I be selfish enough to excavate the whole site and rob future generations of archaeologists of those possibilities? He also shares that he grew up fascinated by dinosaurs and always dreamed of becoming an archaeologist. He never imagined that he'd find himself as the target of conspiracy theories, but here we are. It gets personal too, Lee said, which is the main reason he decided to delete his social media accounts. "I want to stay sane in this situation." For him, the actual concern is not just the spread of misinformation, it is that these competing narratives could overshadow the genuine story. Other scientists have dedicated decades to unraveling what Göbekli Tepe truly represents. There are so many narratives surrounding Göbekli Tepe. The real question is, whose story is the right one? And I think we may never find out. But the one thing scientists are certain about is the fact that Göbekli Tepe stands as proof that humans have been storytellers for at least 12,000 years. The carvings on those T-shaped pillars, the lions, foxes, and hands, are all part of that ancient narrative. We still can't tell exactly what those carvings are all about. Göbekli Tepe might be the first place where humans gathered to exchange ideas and create meaning together. In 2025, there have been a lull of heavily focused restoration efforts on Enclosure C, which is home to Göbekli Tepe's iconic T-shaped pillars. The surrounding structures in this area underwent comprehensive repairs and stabilization to preserve their integrity. Speaking to Anadolu Agency, one of the active researchers said the team concentrated on deepening their understanding of Göbekli Tepe's architectural layout and structural units. He said, "We focused on Enclosure C, one of the largest and most impressive structures under the protective roof. We carried out major restoration work, including reinforcing the walls and reassembling and re-erecting several standing pillars." He also added that similar conservation and reinforcement efforts will continue in the coming years, especially for structures which are already exposed. Excavations at Göbekli Tepe often referred to as the ground zero of history, are conducted under the coordination of Turkey's Ministry of Culture and Tourism as part of the ongoing Stonehills project, which continues to bring up new insights into the earliest traces of human civilization till today. What do you think about Göbekli Tepe's 12,000-year-old pillars? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. To enjoy more exciting videos, click play on the video on your screen. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you get notified when a new video drops.